I think they look okay. If you can get them on sale for under $50, I think they're all right. Just because they're not completely awful, terrible, but they're not really that good either. So kind of like if I had to do an Amazon review, I would say. All right, good day to you all. I hope this video finds you well on this lovely 1st of June. Summer is almost here. All right, we've got another one from Adidas. I was kind of waiting to get this one, because there was so as you can see in the title, this is the Lightblaze Moc, and I was wanting to get the marbled colorway, like the green and pink marbled colorway with this one that they kind of showed off in the well, I don't know what to call them, like the press releases on them or something, you know, like the articles that are out on this. Like everybody was shown these like these green and pink marbled black version. So I was really holding out on those to do like a video on, and they still haven't dropped on the Adidas website. I was talking about them with a viewer, and he was fearful that these might not release like in full in the States from Adidas, and that might be why they're only on like Amazon or on the resale market right now. So you can find these on Amazon. They've got 3 different colors, black, white, and like a tan or a beige. So I went with the beige just because it's a color. It's better than black or white, in my opinion. I always try to get some sort of color if it's available. These look a little big. I went with the 12s. I was getting conflicting like reports on the sizing with these, so I just went ahead and went up because I'm getting tired of getting things that are too small. If they're up, I can still wear them, but if they're too small, I can't. So regardless, I'll send them back if they don't fit. But anyways, I was wanting to get the green and the pink marbled version for the channel, and I don't know what Adidas is doing with these as far as the release. They were supposed to come out in spring 2025, and they apparently did in other parts, but not in the States. So I just went ahead and snagged them just to kind of be on the same schedule with everybody else, because I noticed a lot of the channels are starting to show these off now, so I figured I would bang them out real quick too. So we'll see what Adidas does with them in the future. So these are made with the Lightstrike foam, and everybody seems to be comparing these to the foam runners, and I think these are more just based off of the Lightstrike shoe. I'll show some imagery of the shoe right here so you can see it in comparison to the silhouette of these. So just because they're foam, I don't think they are like a mock version of the foam runner, so to speak. I think they're just a mock version of the Lightstrike shoe. So oh yeah, these are the Lightblaze Mocs. Sorry, I think I called them the Lightstrike Mocs. I keep doing that. So there's a little bit of a write-up on the Amazon listing for them. Oh, they also have this crazy, like, it's like a cream base color with like a red marbling, red and gray marbling. They have them on Amazon, but they don't have them available. Same thing with like the green one. They're not available. It's not the green and the pink one that I mentioned, but it's like a green, gray, black marbling, which is unavailable on Amazon. But the clay brown ones I got are on sale for $47 right now, which is good. Like, my fear was that they were going to dry up on the on Amazon too, since they're not on the Adidas website, and then the only way to access them would be off of a resale site, which they're going for over $100 on the resale site. So here, let me read what they have on Amazon for these. All right, about this item: laceless shoe with lightweight cushioning, slip-on construction for easy on and off. The lightweight champ, Adidas Lightstrike reinvents the feeling of lightweight cushioning while retaining superb responsiveness. Quick dry upper, synthetic upper for quick drying comfort, synthetic outsole for durability. And that's all they have listed for these Lightblaze Mocs. So I imagine Adidas would have a little more info if they had it on their website. But, you know, I could probably find it on like a European Adidas website. Let me do that real quick. Let me pause this. Hang on, I'm very, I'm very distracted this morning. Okay, I did find them on the UK Adidas website. They have them listed. They're actually on sale right now, 35% off. They retail for 50 euros. They have them for 32.50 right now. So that might be part of why they haven't released in the States yet, if they aren't really selling very well. But they've got good reviews. There's 19 reviews and it has a 4.7. So I think when they're getting the negative reviews, it's people trying to compare them to the Foam RNR, which I don't think is a fair comparison. Because they're more of just the Lightblaze shoe in a foam like moccasin version. So I think if they're looked at within that context, then they might be a little stronger, because the Foam RNR is really strong by itself, and I think anything that kind of compares to the Foam RNR is going to be less than, so to speak. But if you look at it from a new perspective, like this is a brand new silhouette, it's not trying to be anything else but a foam version of the shoe, then they might be a little better perceived. But let me read what they have on the UK Adidas website for the Lightblaze Mocs. Laceless shoes with lightweight cushioning slide into comfort that keeps up with your active lifestyle in these Adidas shoes. They have a slip-on design and a synthetic upper that dries quickly. Lightstrike cushioning adds a lightweight feel and shock absorption. Whether you're headed to the pool or just taking it easy at home, these slides have you covered. Now let's take a look at them now that we've got all of that info out there. So they the foam feels a little rubbery just to the touch. It doesn't have much of a texture. A lot of times they will incorporate some sort of texture within the mold of foam shoes to give it a little more of like a surface feel to it, where these are just kind of smooth. So we have lots of kind of like horizontal cuts on the side that goes over the whole top of the toe, which is pretty good ventilation. But I like how we have this little toe cap. Get my light situated. All right, that should be good. Okay. So I kind of like that look, having the little toe cap. So like stylistically, these don't look too bad. They look a lot like the shoe in terms of the silhouette, the Lightstrike shoe. So I like these, how they're risen, how they take that like strip of rubber in between the ventilation holes, and it are these little risen aspects of it. That's kind of nice, like aesthetically. This feels a little left, a little neglected back here. We've got a nice big cut in the heel. So we'll see how this tab feels on the back. It looks a little high. But I noticed with the higher heel, it's usually just noticeable when you first slide in. After that, you kind of get used to it. We got a little silver serial number there on the side. There's kind of a midsole outline here. So that's kind of nice how they carried that line, but then split it up and carried this downwards. So a little dynamic. It makes me think of like, they're not flames, but just the way that these risen components are kind of flaring from the toe back and how they're still raised. Like, it makes me think of like flames on like a hot rod or something. So that's kind of cool. I think they look good aesthetically, and I think approaching these in reference and in context to the shoes are better than approaching them in reference and context to the foam runner. So let me grab a foam runner and we will compare them real quick. Let me grab the gray pair. So, okay, these might not be too bad because these are a little smaller than these grays, and these grays fit me pretty well, except for coming up a little high on the side there. So, I mean, there's definitely components that they're taking from the foam runner. I get that. I mean, look at how open this top part is. So they probably based their initial design off of the foam runner. But I think in terms of like the overall silhouette, they look a lot more like the shoe, like the Lightstrike shoe. So just some different design elements about it. I think these look a little more sporty, where these are a little more abstract and kind of bulbous. Very, there's a lot of curves on the foam runner. Versus this has more of like a traditional shoe, like midsole outline to it. So they do have a lot of similarities, I think, primarily just because of the opening for the foot. Because the toe is even different. It's not as bulbous as the foam runner, and I mean the cuts kind of run the same, but not really. I mean, just look at the side of the foam runner versus the side of the Lightblaze. So, I mean, I get it. They're both foam shoes. They have some relative components to it. They're both coming from Adidas, but I don't think these are supposed to be a new foam runner. I think these are supposed to be a foam version of the Lightstrike shoe. Oh, let's look at the outsole too. Yeah, see. I think they would have done a little more with the outsole in reference to like the foam runner, you know, just how abstract it is. So that's just my take on it. I see similarities, but I also see similarities between the Lightstrike shoe too. The outside tread kind of follows the I think the aesthetics of the cuts on the top. It's very similar. It a lot of kind of straight edges, straight lines that run the length of the shoe. So I think it's pretty simple outsole. It's pretty shallow. It's not as abstract as the foam runner outsole. That's kind of nice. There's kind of the cut at the arch right there, but it coincides with this little dash up on the side on the midsole there, so that's kind of cool. Here's our line from the mold, from the injection mold. So the outsole is referenced a little bit, or accented I should say, a little bit by this edge here. But we don't have any sort of like rubber outsole to it. It's all one piece EVA, all solid. So the marbling is very subtle too. I kind of like that, but I also wish I would have been able to get that green and pink one that they showed in the advertisement. Oh, and let's look at the insole. So it looks like it's a little narrow of an insole, or a little narrow of a footbed here. Look at how narrow this is right here. And we've got a little bit of an inside of the foot arch support, but it's very pronounced. It's very vertically oriented there. So I have a feeling it's probably going to kind of pinch the foot a little bit right there, which might feel okay, but it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of support like on the bottom of it. It seems like it's more oriented on the side, because this is pretty flat right here. It's got a little bit of a slope after it to kind of go down where the forefoot, I think that's what the front of the foot's called, the forefoot. And it's pretty flat up there too. So I'm curious how these are gonna fit on me. So the reviews on Amazon said that they run big and people size down, but then I watched a couple YouTube reviews on it, and people were saying to just go true to size, and that they had sized down and they felt a little small. So I've gotten so many small sizes lately. I just wanted to not have that, so I went up in size. So let's throw them on foot and see how these fit, see how squishy they are. And we'll try to, we'll draw from the Foam RNR too and make that comparison. But I think these look a lot like the Skechers too. Like when I first saw the Skechers, I was like, oh, they look like Foam RNRs, and I was like, oh no, wait a minute, they look more like the Lightblaze Moc. So I think there's going to be similar design elements to all of these foam shoes, regardless. Just because they're foam shoes, you know, it's like making visual comparisons between regular shoes. I mean, shoes are going to have a natural shape and form to them just by what's established, so there's going to be similarities there. So I think we're going to naturally find similarities visually between these foam shoes, like regardless of the models. But I think as long as there's I don't know, enough visual variation going on, I don't think any of these are really direct copies of each other, you know? Alright, see if we can do a hands-free entry. Yeah, and these are the better size for me. Yeah, because I've got like half-inch. The 11s would have been too small on me. I've got like a half-inch. So that's where your design flaw is here, is there's not enough on the top to hold this in. That's why people are getting a heel slide. So they're a very casual fit. Here, let me untie these in the back. I will probably keep these since they fit. If anything, just as a point of reference for other videos, because I'm sure there'll be another dozen of similar looking shoes that come out in the future, and we can compare and contrast them between the Lightblaze and the Foam RNRs and the Arch Fit and all that, all of the above, because they're all going to have some similar components because they're all foam shoes. All right. So, yep, we've got there's a good pinch happening here, right at the arch. The ergos to this footbed are lining up properly, though. That was one of the criticisms that other people were saying, is that the footbed didn't line up with their foot, like where the arch support was. But these fit with my feet, so there's not a whole lot going on with the footbed. The Foam RNRs are a lot more comfortable in terms of the ergos and where all of the support is. I like that the Foam RNR has like these little like pockets of additional support, like in the heel and stuff. So that's not happening with these. It's basically kind of a flat footbed aside from the pinched arch support that comes in from the sides. But I mean, that it's providing support, but it's just all from the side. Like, I don't really have much underneath the arch right there. But it pushes in so far that it's like, you know, the way the foot's kind of designed, we've got this big void here where our arch is, but then on the outside of the foot, it's more flat. So that inside of the arch support on these shoes is pushing so far in right here, like whatever's left on my foot kind of lines up with the flat of the shoe. So they're not a terrible design as far as the arch goes. It's just a different approach. So I could see these kind of stretching out for your own foot after a period of wear. So like right now, it does feel a little pinched on my feet. like right there where that arch support is, and I can see that starting to kind of stretch out over time. Just how soft foam is, you know. So these aren't anywhere close to being as good as the foam runners in terms of the Urcos. But as a kind of a standalone thing, like let's not compare them to the foam runners anymore. I think we've kind of exhausted that comparison. So let's just kind of look at them by themselves, what they're doing. So this, I wish that they didn't come so far forward with this cut on the top. Just because I know I'm going to get a lot of heel slip because of that. Like, had they brought this back a little further, or even done what Skechers did and just rise this area, just have this area a little risen. That way it's not opening up on you. Like, see this flaring out right here? It's not holding the foot down. Whereas like with the Skechers, they just have it risen right there, but it's still, like, this is reinforced here too. This is a lot thicker up here than it is right here. So it helps retain the integrity. Like that's very sturdy and solid. So it helps maintain the roof integrity of the shoe to keep it on foot. And these are actually starting to shrink down to my foot and holding it better in place. That's not going to be able to happen with these the way this is designed because of how loose that aspect is. And that's probably so far that's the weak point of the design with these. Alright, those sidewalls don't come up too high for me. It's just under my ankle bone. But there's a little bit of compression. The foam has a little bit of like they're like a mid softness, you could say. They're not like hard and firm, but I don't think they're as soft as the foam runners. So last point of reference or comparison to the foam runners. All right, let's walk on them and see how they do. So they're kind of mid in terms of their comfort. I'm not getting like a lot of positive feedback from it. That arch pinch is the thing that's standing out the most in terms of like sensory input as I'm walking. But there's not like a huge cushion effect where I'm like, oh, these are so comfortable. I'm just feeling this like pinch happening in the arch. And then the rest of the footbed is just flat. So I could see these kind of starting to mold to your foot if you wore them long enough. But I mean, they're not terrible. Like, that's kind of the only negative impression that I'm experiencing is that dramatic pinch there with the arch. But I like the rest of it is kind of okay. There's a little more compression underfoot as I'm walking. But it's not like very like cushioned. I'm not getting the same type of like comfort as I am getting out of those Skechers. Like those Skechers are super soft and cushy. More akin to like the foam runners, where these are not. These are a little firmer. But they're not hard though. I mean, there's still like a mid compression that's occurring. So, and I think this was the better size for me too. I'm glad I went up and not down. There's a little bit of shifting happening, but it's not bad. Like my foot's not sliding forward though, because my toe is pretty close to the end right there. But it's not pressed up against the end. I know had I got the 11s, they wouldn't fit. My toes would have been up towards the end. So that might be their solution to having the top open so much, is like by having that arch, that side arch, like pressed in so much. That's what's holding the foot, is this pressure point right here, not on the top. So that's their approach to, I guess, holding the foot in, is it's being pinched on the sides right here with that arch support. which allows this whole area to be a lot more free floating. I've got some space here between my foot and the top. It's touching right here and right here, but from there forward, it's all free floating. So these will probably have really good ventilation with them, good breathability. It's just entirely locking in back here, right here. And that's kind of how the arch fit is too. Like a lot of the lock-in is back here, and then the whole front, the forefoot, there's a lot more like space up there happening and stuff. And that's how those that last Croc model that I wore, the Trailblaze, I think is what they're called, the Trailblaze 2, had a similar lock-in effect where it was extremely loose and free floating kind of on the front area, and the way that they had those like triangle side components to it, along with the heel support, like it was all locked in the back here. And then it was all very free floating in the top. So these actually fit relative to those Trailblaze 2s. So if you have any experience with those, I'm just getting a similar impression from them with like the way they're holding onto the foot. So that's kind of unique. I kind of like that about these. Like they're not too bad actually, like if I look at them from that perspective. And I think that's kind of what I was trying to get at the beginning of this video by not doing a direct comparison of these to the foam runners. Because if you do, they're gonna fail. Because the foam runners are really good, I think, in and of themselves. So whenever you try to compare something to them, they're gonna fall short. But if we look at these kind of as a standalone thing, or like a more of a mock version of the Lightblaze shoe or the Lightstrike shoe, and just what they're doing independently with this, I think they're all right. Like they're still not my favorite. I would rather wear those Skechers, but I'm kind of digging these though too, just for what they are. Let's get some download footage. All right, so there's some mild texture on the footbed. That arch pinch feels even more aggressive barefoot. I think having the socks on kind of helps press the wall out a little bit, so it's not pressing in so much. But yeah, I think for me going up in size was the way to go, but apparently other people are going down in size, so I think it depends on how big of a half size you're on. So I'm good with going up in size. Had I gone down, they would have been too small again for me. So the ventilation is adequate. They've got enough cuts in the top that there's some good ventilation. And just having that whole top is free floating, I think is nice, because I don't have like hot spots at all. And I think that's an issue when you get into these foam shoes, is if there's too much contact on top of the foot, you're going to get hot spots. So by having this kind of free floating design and not depending or relying on the top of it to hold the foot in, using the side as like a pinch approach, that's not a bad design, but it's limited as far as like who can wear it, because you need a certain foot type in order to wear these. Like I said, wide flat feet probably won't do very well with these. I think I might have a night vision, but like a night mode that might help with the low light. We're starting to lose light. It's almost down. So I just had I've been wearing these all day. I had some follow-up thoughts I was gonna add to the review just to help supplement it. I don't know how cohesive my review was earlier. I was rather scatterbrained when I did that. Just in hindsight, I felt like I was all over the place with my analysis of it, so I thought I would supplement the video with a little additional like a conclusion. So these Lightblaze started to break in a little better, but the inner arch is very very aggressive. It's very invasive. It's starting to widen out some, but the footbed is so narrow on this, and that arch really kind of presses into the side of the foot. So like it's starting to widen out and break in a little bit, but it's still very prominent. So I'll try to get a little regular footage before it gets too dark. Get some down low. So I really like how these look. I think these are a little more of a neutral look. As far as like the foam shoes, it's not so abstract as like the foam runners, for example. I think these are a little more casual in their appearance, but they are unfortunately a little more casual in their comfort. Not a lot of support there with the footbed. It's very, aside from the invasive arch support on the side, it's a very flat footbed. So the foam has a little bit of a squish to it, so it's semi-comfortable, but there's not a lot of dynamic to the footbed. Bunnies. All right, so I wore these all day. Just walking out of the apartment, I was wishing that I had the Skechers on instead. They're just not extremely comfortable as the Skechers are. The Skechers are like inviting. They want you to like put them on, where these are, I don't know, they're kind of, it's like a battle. It's just that inner arch, man. I see why some people don't like it very much. You have to have a really narrow foot for this to not want to like eject your foot from it, because the pressure from that inner arch and how narrow the footbed is, it almost like pushes your foot up and out. And there's really not much securing the foot in from the top, like I showed earlier when in the first section of the video. Like, it's very free floating on top. It kind of captures your foot, but it doesn't really like contain the foot, so to speak. Well, I guess it still contains it, but it's just like there's nothing to lock it in. It flops around a lot. There's a lot of play in it. With every step, my foot lifts and settles, and each time it presses into that inner arch. So like it's not as bad now as it was when I first started the day, but it still isn't entirely broken in yet. It still needs to widen some with my foot, just in that area, or kind of beat down that inner arch. So if that weren't so prominent, I think these would be pretty decent. I would just be complaining that there isn't any arch support in them, but now it's like an invasive arch. I don't know whose foot this would work well with. Here, let me pick up this dog poop. I actually brought a bag this time. So this foam is decent. I like this foam. It could have been a little thicker on the midsole area. I think that would have provided a little more cushion, and they could have had a little more of a, I don't know, just the footbed a little more dynamic and not so flat. It would have been a lot better. So it's too narrow. That inner arch is too prominent. And that's really the main complaints that I have. Like, it's got good ventilation in the top. Like, all those cuts on it are really good. So all of these ventilation cuts in the top allow for like a lot of airflow to come through, and I think they look good. I like how it's like very uniform in its look. Like I said, it's not as like abstracted as the foam runner is, so I think these look a lot more neutral. The top isn't as bulbous either. It's a little like flatter, kind of more of like a like, I don't think they're moccasins. I don't consider these moccasins. I'm not sure why they went with moc, other than just a reference to like a casual footwear. But had they changed that opening in the top to be more like the Skechers top, I think these would be a lot better designed, and it would contain the foot a lot more, and there wouldn't be such a heel rise. So these are not sporty at all. These are extremely casual, just within the play that happens within the shoe, within the mock. So those are just some characteristics that really define these. So like I mentioned, I like the look of them. I think aesthetically they look pretty cool. But just those design components with the narrow footbed, the prominent arch, the loose fitting top to it, it just makes them rather mid. The sides don't come up too high. It's not digging into my ankle bone at all. So I just feel like this is kind of a swing and a miss in a sense. Come on, you. Oh. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I would recommend them. Like, they're not terrible, but they're not really that good either. So they're just kind of okay. They're just kind of mid. Like, these are kind of like a C as far as the foam shoe world goes right now, in comparison to what else is out there already. I think they look okay. If you can get them on sale for under $50, I think they're all right. Just because they're not completely awful, terrible, but they're not really that good either. So kind of like if I had to do an Amazon review, I would say that the footbed is very narrow. They have an inside of the foot arch that's overly prominent, that is uncomfortable, that requires a break-in period. I would say they were extremely loose fitting, casual fitting. There's a lot of heel slip, a lot of heel slide. They look okay. They're not terrible looking. The foam is rather squishy. The foam is okay. I wish there was a little more of it. Like, even if they just did a few more rises on the footbed to help with the ergonomic support, I think these would be a lot better, and it would help balance the pressure that's being pressed onto the overly prominent inside of the arch support, or inside of the foot arch support, and that they run true to size. I don't think sizing down is going to do you any favors with the heel slip, just the way that the tops of these are designed. I think it's regardless of how large or how small you get these, you're going to have heel slip. It's just the way they're designed. They just didn't put enough like structural element like around the ankle and the back of the foot area to really hold it in place at all, to prevent it from slipping and sliding. So, and I would give them probably 3 stars. It's like not terrible, but really not that great either. It's like a passing grade. So if Adidas never really does a full release on these in the States, then I'm not real surprised. Because I don't see these as like a really good, strong designed to like put a lot of money and marketing behind. So I like how they look. I'm gonna keep wearing them just to see if like they break in better, if they get more comfortable. Like if they start to widen some, or if that that arch bump starts to like recess and compress more, depress more, then these actually won't be too bad. Because like I like the price point, under $50. I think I paid like 48 or something for them. So that's nice. These are cheaper than the Skechers, but in terms of like comfort, like compared to the Skechers, I would never pick these over the Skechers, other than like the look, you know. If I wanted to wear something that was a little different than the Skechers, that's the only instance that I would pick these up. So we'll see if I can break them in. If I can break them in some, then I don't know, they might be a little better, and I might like want to voluntarily wear them. But as of right now, like I'm gonna have to kind of force myself to put them on to break them in. Otherwise, it's just I'll be wearing the Skechers. But yeah, so these get like a 3-star rating. They're all right, but I wouldn't recommend them. I would recommend the Skechers if you're wanting a foam shoe that's like good and comfortable, that has less of a break-in period. Like the Skechers were good when I first started wearing them, and they only got better the more I wore them, because they started to kind of shape to the foot some more. So that's one of the saving graces with these EVA shoes, is if they're garbage, like just give them some time and they'll start to kind of shape to your foot a little more. Like even just from between now and this afternoon when I started wearing these, they feel 5 times better. They're still not there yet, but they feel 5 times better. So I'll keep trying to break them in, just because I kind of like, I like the foam, I like the look, and they have potential. They just need a little more attention, and maybe just wearing them will help provide that imprint in the footbed to make them better. So worst case scenario, I could heat them up, throw them in the dryer, heat them up, and then throw them on and imprint my foot that way. That might make them really good. I've done that with a pair of Crocs, and they're amazing, because it like softens up enough to where you can literally press your footprint into it, and then you've got this custom molded, custom fit Croc. So these are kind of cheap enough that I might do that with them and not feel like I'm gonna ruin them, because I think they'll only get better by doing that. So we'll see. That would shrink down the top too if I did that, and which would hold it on foot better. So Stella. You smelling squirrels? You smelling squirrels? All right, well, this doesn't need to be 40 minutes long. We'll wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Plenty more to come. All right, we'll see you guys. Take care. Cheers.